from the bottom. Yeah. Oh God, I ain't never had shit. I come from the bottom. Oh God, I ain't never had shit. Look at me now. I almost gave up 1,000 times. I did, yeah. I was robbing Peter trying to pay Paul. Yeah, feeling like my back against the wall. But I made it through it all. Yeah, counting me out, but you should've known when I needed you. Left me for dead. Sent a text, but you left me on red. Yeah, I know what it is, I know what it ain't. Hey, this for all them niggas who told me I can't. Listen, I come from the bottom. Yeah, oh God. Yeah, I ain't never had shit. I come from the bottom. Oh God, yeah, I ain't never had shit. Look at me now, I almost gave up 1,000 times. I did in a minute since I've been in it. Shit go way back to elementary. Remember singing in my graduation. I believe I can fly. Almost let the devil steal my dreams like a thief in the night, yeah. But look at me now, yeah, yeah. I've been working, I've been putting it down. I done came a long, long way. I jumped in a whole nother lane. I come from the bottom, oh God. I ain't never had shit, I come from the bottom, yeah. I ain't never had shit. Look at me now, I almost gave up 1,000 times. I did, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And when I was your age, grandson, I wanted to be a ballerina. And I was good, too. Until I messed up this here leg of mine. And that was it for me. What you want to be when you grow up, baby?
When I grow up, I want to be a magician. You want to see a trick? Pick a card, any card. I'ma close my eyes. Don't tell me what you get. It's a jack of hearts, ain't it? That's crazy, I didn't get it wrong. This morning I was watching a tutorial, it was like 45 minutes long. When I grow up, I'ma be richer than every player on the Lakers and Clippers. 20,000 people packed in the stadium, Staples Center, I'm just painting a picture. Better life for my mom and my sister. And every night we having lobster for dinner and some ice cream cones. For all the nights we froze. And really I wish that my daddy could do it, but that's the life he chose. Guess he ain't think his son would be worth it. Bet he don't know how much it be hurting. But I know I won't cry no more. I don't even know, sometimes I don't know if I'ma see the sunshine no more. But I don't know, I'm only 9 years old.
When I grow up, I just want everyone to see that I believe in something. And if I lead the world, I hope and pray to God that I'll be leaving something. I got a hole inside my heart, I'm bleeding from it. Is there hope for me? Cause I can't think of nothing. When I grow up, I just want everyone to see that I completed something.
When I grow up, I'm buying my mama a house. Cause year after year they keep tossing us out. Tear after tear she be calling around, but my family can't keep helping all of us out. Too young to go get a job, I got school in the fall, but I feel like I'm falling right now. My cousin just made like 1,000 from kicking in houses, I'm trying to get down. Cause the only ones my age with it is the niggas in the streets. And I'm feeling like I'm living on a leash. Goddamn, I done seen niggas go from a Joe Blow to a whole 20 in a week. What I can't do is sit around and wait on everybody, cause I know that they ain't giving it to me. Plus every nigga that's around me getting to the money, I ain't finna be the only nigga bummy. Where the pack at? And the Ziplocs and the cap set. I'ma get a bag when I bag that. Just front it to me, I'ma get you that back. Do you only do cash or cash app? 5 months later, they buying my dope, but watching me close, so I gotta watch what I post. That's why I went and bought a gun before I even had bought me some clothes, cause they was gonna try to get me gone at the perfect timing. Mama just called me, couldn't make words, but I heard her crying. I called my sister to see what was wrong, but her big head ass won't pick up the phone. I called my mama back and said, can you please talk to me, cause I'm rushing home. She said, you the reason why they shot your little sister, trying to be fucking grown, they was looking for you. I told them leave, but they was pushing for you. Then your sister got mad, and long story short, she took a damn bullet for you. When I grow up, I'ma be a magician, cause all them niggas disappearing. Now my little sister, my eyes, you serious? God, I'm about to send you them niggas spirits. Feel like I'm the reason why she ain't here. I was only trying to stop from getting evicted. Feel like I ain't had no different decisions. We was brought up in a difficult system. We ain't monsters, we just miserable children. But I gotta make them feel how I'm feeling. Shoot at all them niggas, boop, 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 boop. Sound like I gotta go get a new engine. Tell the preacher I'll be a statistic. Tell the cops to come and send me to prison. Every time I see them niggas, I'm shooting. And I don't care what family member I'm hitting. Then they shot me back. Damn, guess that's how it's ending. They label us criminals, we just kids in the system.
When I grow up, I just want everyone to see that I believe in something. And if I lead the world, I hope and pray to God that I'll believe in something. I got a hole inside my heart, I'm bleeding from it. Is there hope for me? Cause I can't think of nothing. When I grow up, I just want everyone to see that I completed something.
Topping our news today is a 16-year-old gang member who opened fire in a residential neighborhood in Dayton, Ohio, tragically injuring 3, including a mother and her child. He was later killed about 2 blocks away. But this just highlights the level of gang activity that has been rising in the area as of late. In better news, 16-year-old Cody O'Brien has become the first magician to sell an amphitheater. Please show your continued support for him and continue to patronize the good in neighborhoods. And let's try and repel the bad. He truly is a magician for the people.
Yo. Peace to the tribe, peace to the tribe, peace to the tribe. What's happening, everybody? What's going on with everybody on this cool Sunday afternoon? Wait a minute, I'm 2 hours behind y'all on the east. What time is it? On this cool Sunday evening. What's going on with y'all? Just checking in with y'all. So today, y'all know we just finished the Karmelo Anthony trial. The Karmelo Anthony trial just finished, and we have a lot of people feeling some type of way, either way, about how the verdict came out or whatever. Now, before I get started, and we're waiting on Miss Shon. Miss Shon will be joining us in a little bit, but I got a video to play before she gets here anyway. Before we get started, I'd just like to state my position again, because I think some people be, mixing up my position or some of our positions. There are some of us who knew that Karmelo would end up being convicted. We knew that he would end up being convicted. Some of us just had a difference in the time frame we thought that he would get for, the situation that happened or whatever. We just thought he'd have a different time frame, but we are not arguing, and our argument and our position is not that he is innocent. Some people do feel he's innocent. And when I say innocent, I'm just saying that, yes, it's unfortunate how the situation went down. Yes, somebody lost their life. When I'm talking about the situation, I'm basically saying, even if it was a mistake he made, and it could very well be a bad mistake he made, it could be a bad decision he made to pull the knife out. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. You say, make tribes great again. Make tribes great again is what my hat says. And then my shirt says, make American Indian Negroes great again. Yeah. So y'all know how they go. This Indian community over here, we still on that over here. What I'm saying is basically, even if he made a mistake, he still has to pay a consequence for certain things. For certain things he did, like he still has to pay a consequence, even if it was a bad decision, a bad mistake. I give you one thing me and Miss Shon was talking about, right? She gave an example one time in a story, and I remember this example of a mother going into a store and, you know, she's stealing food for her children, but she gets caught. Now, she's actually stealing food to feed her babies. Like, she's down on her luck. She's actually trying to feed her babies, you know, but she got caught committing a crime. All right. So the point I'm trying to make is, even though emotionally we can say this mother was just trying to feed her babies, she still got caught doing a crime. Now, these people choose to prosecute her for stealing. They have every right to prosecute her for stealing. And if she's found guilty of stealing, she has a consequence to pay, even though it was to feed her babies. You get what I'm saying? So in this case, I'm saying I personally never thought he had a self-defense case. I never thought he had a self-defense case. I thought it was very weak, and I mean, if y'all remember, I've been around a while, and from day one, I said it was going to be an uphill battle for him. But that was also before things started coming out in court also. That made me kind of start looking at things through a different lens a little bit. You know, just through just a different, you know, could it have possibly been self-defense? Is now how I'm kind of looking at it, you know, because there were some things that were put on the table that, you know, that made me kind of look at things a little different, right? So yeah, he's got to pay. He took a life. You know, I mean, no matter how you feel about it, some feel it was self-defense. Some felt he shouldn't have, you know, stabbed somebody because he was pushed, you know, or he was, you know, even if he was punched. Some people feel like there was no justification at all for him to pull a knife out. That, you know, however you feel is how you feel. I felt he wasn't going to get self-defense. I always felt that. But I didn't expect him to get 35 years either. So now that's not what this live is about. This live is about the appeal process. Does he have grounds for an appeal? And if he does, what are those grounds that they're going to present for the appeal? Now, what we have to separate is the appeal is not going to be looking at if he's guilty or not. That's not the appeal. That's not what the appeal is going to be looking at. The appeal, what they are going to be appealing is, did he receive a fair trial or not? That's what's going to be coming up in appeal. For his appeal is not if he was innocent or guilty. That's not what they're going to be looking at in the appeal. They're going to be just simply looking at, did he have a fair trial? That's what we're here for. So that's what we're talking about today is the trial. Give me 1 second, y'all. I didn't see what question. Hello, everyone. Let me see something. Ask the question. If he had killed him with his bare hands, would that be considered self-defense? I'm not sure. Because if you, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. What up, Keisha? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe Miss Shon can help us out better when she gets in here. Also, dealing with this footage, there's going to be a little part in this video that I'm going to play dealing with this footage that they say exists. The bad part about that is the public hasn't seen this video yet. Now, the only reason I'm going to play a part of this video in the beginning, the only reason I'm going to play a part of this video is because there are now more people coming out saying they saw this same video too. That's the only reason I'm playing it. I'm not saying the video exists. I'm not saying these people ain't get together and say, hey, let's create a whirlwind, a web of chaos. I'm not saying, I don't know who these people are, but they claim that they all have seen this video and they're all kind of detailing it the same way. They're all kind of detailing it the same way. And for it to be so detailed, it's hard for me to believe that this video doesn't exist. But the point is, it hasn't been put out here yet for us to see that it does exist. That's the issue. So the only reason I'm playing this video is just simply to show y'all that there are more people backing up that one guy who said he saw the video too, okay? So that's the only reason I'm playing that. So I'm gonna get into this video and we're gonna look at the grounds that he has to stand on for an appeal. Now, I added some clips in from me and Miss Shon's previous live because there are some things that Miss Shon was putting on the table. There were some things that Miss Shon was putting on the table before some of these other lawyers that I added into the clip. She was saying this, some of these things before these lawyers did their interview. So I said, hey, well, she was on to something. So that's why I added some of the clips of myself and Miss Shon from days ago when we were talking about this. And y'all, all we're doing is just bringing our conversation that we be having on the back end to the front, that, chop it up with y'all. We are not, hey man, these are just our opinions, our thoughts. Nobody's saying nothing's factual. We're not lawyers. We're not nothing. We're talking about it just like everybody else. Though he may live in a diverse community, hey man, that's still one of our people. That's still one of ours. And I'm not saying, he's right or he's wrong. I'm saying at this point, on both ends, there were some bad decisions made. And I stand on that. On both ends, there were some bad decisions made. There could have been some better decisions made on both ends. You know what I'm saying? But there wasn't. So now we're here. All right, so I'm going to start the video. And Miss Shon will be joining me in a second. So we're going to look at what grounds do they have for an appeal right now. And we'll talk about it in a second.
What we also have with us is people who actually saw the controversial video of Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony, and they're going to speak to that. They're going to speak to exactly what they saw when they introduced their public information request. And I think that you're not going to be surprised by what they saw, but we want to make sure that we get this information out to the public. So we'll start with T. Sturdy.
Hi, my name is actually Tony Sturdivant. Again, I was one of the ones that saw the video. It's kind of bewildering that it doesn't align with the testimony that was presented. What I saw in the video was what I saw in the video was actually more than 4 kids. There were 6 kids.
Can you hold it? We can hold it. Okay. Yep. Hold it.
Yeah. There were actually 6 kids that walked up in the stadium. 2 splintered off. 4 went directly to Karmelo Anthony. And There was a brief conversation.
You're gonna have to start over, sorry.
All right, start over.
Yeah. That's clean. Start again. Keep your voice up.
All right. Yeah. So again, my name is Tony Sturdivant. I was one of the individuals that put in a FOIA request to see the video. What I saw was starkly different from the testimony that I heard given in the trial. There were 6 kids that walked up, 2 splintered off. I guess that part of was introduced in the trial where they went to deflect the coach. The other 4 walked directly to Karmelo Anthony. There was a brief conversation, I say maybe 20, 30 seconds, and from there, a scuffle ensued. It didn't last long. Karmelo backed out the back of the canopy. He looked one way, looked to the left, and flew down those bleachers. Now, this is the video that was presented to us. This is the questions that I have, though. Why wasn't that video presented in court? And is it the true video? Because, again, it's starkly different from the testimony given in the trial. Karmelo Anthony flew down those bleachers, fell at the bottom of the bleachers.
All right, so listen, I see my cousin is in the chat. My cousin has a strong view on this, okay? So listen, y'all don't have to get in no arguments. People are going to feel what they feel. Let them feel what they feel. You know, we're not all going to agree. I already know my cousin's stance on this. We've had our conversation, but we don't have to get to arguing in the chat. Let's just have a conversation. Well, all we're talking about is the appeal. All we're talking about is the grounds he has to appeal. All right.
Got up, took off. It was maybe 2 or 3 kids that you can see kind of give chase, but Karmelo was gone, so they weren't even going to put a finger on him and touch him. Again, there was a scuffle that ensued at the top of the bleachers, and Karmelo got out of there. But I don't know why that was not brought up in court. I don't know why that was shown. I don't know if the ISD gave us a bogus ass video. I don't know, but that's what I saw.
Hello, everybody. I'm an advocate for Karmelo Anthony. My name is T. And when I went to see the video, they ask if you want to see it from either 2 minutes before the stabbing or 11 minutes before. So I chose 11 minutes. From the moment she pressed play, Karmelo Anthony was already sitting up underneath that canopy. And he was sitting there for at least 8 to 9.5 minutes. You see, well, I saw a boy in a black hoodie go over to him first, and then they left out of the tent, and then you see coming across the field was another 6 boys. When they got to the bleachers, one, he went out of frame, and the other one sat at the bottom. But the remaining 4, they went directly to Karmelo Anthony, and like T said before, it was a brief conversation, and then all you see is commotion. And we know from the interviews that Hunter did, we know that Hunter was, in fact, up underneath that tent. The next thing you see, you can see Karmelo, in the midst of them assaulting him, you can see Karmelo trying to back out, but he gets pulled back forward. The next thing you see is Karmelo, he comes shooting out the back, but he's still not standing. And he had to like kind of crab crawl backwards, and he had to like jerk away from them because they still had a hold of his hoodie. He goes up a couple bleachers and he's looking around for which way to go. He runs diagonally down the bleachers and then he falls. At the time of him falling, that's when I noticed another 3 boys coming down the bleachers chasing after him. But once Karmelo got up, he took off. You didn't see him for the rest of the video. At no point in that video do you see Hunter holding his brother. At no point in that video do you see those boys ever going back to the tent and sitting down. That was all a lie. And I also have questions. I don't know how the defense did not play that video, because when you see that video, it was self-defense. Karmelo was only 5'8", 130-something pounds, and Austin and Hunter Metcalf were 6'1", 220-something pounds.
Okay, once again, just to be fair, I'm only playing this video because just to show that there are more people starting to come out and say they seen this video. The bad part, though, is the fact that nobody else has seen this video. And we don't know who these people are and where they came from that's saying they seen the video. So that's the only reason I'm playing it, is to just show that, hey, there are more people saying they seen this video, but the public has not seen this video. And I told y'all in the last live, they're talking about they're going to give them the video after the trial. And I told y'all, they're not getting this video. They're not getting this video that they're saying exists. They're not about to give them people that video that would show this boy getting jumped. They're not going to give them that. They're going to give them an altered video. I can almost guarantee you. Now, where this video gonna pop up from, if it does exist, I have no idea. But it ain't coming from them people. It's not gonna come from those people. So that's all I'm saying is that's all I'm saying is I just don't think I think those people are playing in their face. I haven't seen so they played a video of them getting jumped, of him getting jumped. I didn't know about that. I haven't I don't know who watched the video. You say they watched the video a whole year ago. I don't know who is they. And okay, so now this was my other question then, because this comes into the whole appeal thing. If this video does exist, why didn't that defense lawyer go get that video? Why did he not go get that video? So that's kind of where we're at today, talking about the appeal, because that's one of the things they're saying is the lawyer didn't fight. The lawyer didn't try to get evidence, and there was a lot of suppressed evidence. So I'm gonna, once this video over, it's gonna get into some lawyers talking about the situation. So, but that's my question. If this was shown a year ago, then that means this lawyer set him up then. In my eyes, in my opinion, if this video does exist and this lawyer didn't go get it, y'all are saying this man got jumped. He was jumped. Nobody has seen him getting jumped though, but these few people. Where is the video? That's my only issue. Like, why didn't the lawyer go get the video?
So for people to say that he should have used his hands, people can die from fights, from people using their hands. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. So I want to say that this press conference is for people who saw the video, because we want to make sure that we get that information out there. The other thing is that we have noticed major disparities when we look up statistically the sentencing structures that Judge Roach sentences minorities under. There's at least a 75% disparity in the length of the prison sentence when the defendant is of color. And so this is a concern for us here in Collin County. I reside here, and so I am concerned as a citizen. If the law is supposed to be equal and everybody is supposed to be protected under that law, then, sorry about that, that means every race of people are protected, right? And so with that being...
LG, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. You said the people that I'm playing, they had to have an appointment, which I've seen. I've seen the receipts that they had to have an appointment. Now, all I'm saying is, if this video does exist, why didn't that lawyer go get that video? This could have definitely helped his case. This could have definitely helped his case. So now this is why we're going into today's show about grounds for appeal. Did he get a fair trial? Did his lawyer set him up?
Said, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to express what we saw and what we're concerned about here in Collin County.
Okay, sorry. You good right there? I'm Christopher King. I actually was a licensed attorney in Collin County several years ago, working with the city of Frisco on a certain project. But I'm Christopher King. My handle is KingCast online. I'm also a journalist, and I have a couple things for you briefly. Today I have filed my request for all exhibits used at trial. We'll see how that turns out. I had mailed it in before with a self-addressed stamped envelope, didn't get a response, so I figured I'd fly down here and file it in person this time. So as to this trial, what I see as an attorney, I saw what I believe to be malpractice. And I don't know why it happened, but I will tell you a couple of quick reference points. Number one, he allowed those students, to young people, not professional people, to testify as to ultimate issues of fact, such as, was it murder or not? Yes. Was there provocation? Karmelo provoked him. That's not how it works. You have to make them elocute as to what Karmelo did to allegedly provoke a situation. That's how it works. And when you don't object to it in the cases in chief, you cannot come back later post hoc and then ask the judge and complain about it in a jury charge. There were also no expert witnesses produced, no use of force expert, no jury professional consultant was there that I know of. Okay, so these are all very serious questions on this case, and I don't understand it, but I don't like it, and I think this is the proverbial travesty of justice that we have just witnessed here. And there needs to be an investigation. It's not right. It's just not right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your.
Are you close with the family?
So I actually speak with them. And so
What's next now?
So what's now, and this is what I stated at the beginning, what's next now is definitely a fight for justice. It's definitely a fight. They are definitely ready to file an appeal, which an appeal has officially been filed today. They're ready to move forward with seeing Karmelo get justice and seeing him getting a fair trial. That is all that they wanted from Collin County, was a fair trial. And unfortunately, and I did attend some of the proceedings, and unfortunately it does not appear to me that they received a fair trial, that Karmelo received a fair trial. So what's next for them is supporting their son, and we as advocates, we're going to continue to support Karmelo and support the family, and they're going to continue to fight for justice, and we'll be right there on the side of them. Thank you.
So a notice of appeal has been filed by Karmelo Anthony, and that is the precursor to filing the actual appeal. So as you would expect, you're convicted of murder. You're sentenced to 35 years. You probably want to see if you can get a new trial, a second look, a second chance at all this. So Brian Weiss, you're an appellate expert as well. And that's, anytime I have a question about Texas law, you're on speed dial. I don't know if I still have speed dial, but if I still had speed dial, you'd be on it.
I'd be on it again.
Let me start with the first issue that I was shocked by. And again, I didn't get to actually see the testimony because the judge did not allow us to see it. But the reporting is that each eyewitness kind of finished their testimony by saying this was not self-defense. Is that okay? Because I thought that's what the trial was about, and I thought that was the question that the jury had to answer, whether or not it was self-defense. Can lay witnesses in their testimony tell the jury, in their own opinion, that it was not self-defense?
One thing that they should have objected to was when the prosecutor asked those teenagers, do you think it was self-defense?
The prosecutor asked Para if the case was about race or self-defense, and Para said no. Worski then asked who was wrong that day. Para replied, Karmelo. How the fuck could you ask somebody who was wrong? That should have been objected to by the defense. And I'm not sure if they may have objected to it. But you can't do that. You can't use that witness to testify about the ultimate fact in the case.
Do you think it was murder? He should have objected on that.
So now that's your observation. Did he push or grab him? He pushed him on his shoulder with both hands. Then the prosecutor, Bill Worski, asked, what happened next? Austin tries to force him out because we didn't have any other choice. The witness was then asked by Worski whether the stabbing was self-defense or murder. This was murder. How in the fuck are you allowed to ask that question? How can you? I wouldn't be surprised if this gets flipped on prosecutorial misconduct or ineffective assistance.
The defense attorney should have objected because that was not their call to say.
You know, it's tantamount to him saying, "Is Karmelo guilty?" You can't do that. And similarly, you can't ask him, "What's his case about race or self-defense?" Who gives a fuck what this guy's opinion about race or self-defense is?
The short answer is they're not supposed to. And this is one of the ironies or oddities, if you will, about the criminal justice system. The only kind of criminal case where a layperson can give the ultimate opinion as to innocence is, of all things, a DWI case or DUI, as they say in some. States, because everybody knows what intoxication is. Self-defense is a question of law. That ultimately the jury decides based on the facts.
They were not expert witnesses to say if it was self-defense or anything. They're not in wasn't in Carmelo Anthony's mind to determine that, but an expert witness could possibly give you an analogy or give you some type of, psychology of what he could have been thinking or what he could have been going through at that time, so you could see it from his point of view that it could have been self-defense. You don't ask a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, is it self-defense? And everybody got the same damn answer. And then all of a sudden, that to me influenced the jury. It influenced them, period. I mean, it's just, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm just totally disappointed in I'm disappointed in his attorneys.
Definitely had ineffective assistance of counsel. Totally ineffective. I can't stress enough how ineffective this bum was.
Okay, my bad, y'all. I ain't know it was no sound. What I was saying was, so what they're saying is you can't ask witnesses about the outcome of the trial. It's a self-defense trial. You can't be asking the witnesses, do you think it was self-defense or not? That's not what you can ask the witnesses. So this is why people are saying this was malpractice or Carlos lawyers didn't object to it at all. So that's one of the things they're saying. That's grounds for him to get an appeal. Another one that they're talking about right now, another reason they're talking about right now is the jury selection. About the jury selection.
One of the biggest ones that stands out to the world, and if you didn't see it, you were blind. He didn't have adequate representation. He didn't have adequate representation whatsoever. So that's enough for an appeal.
I was shocked that these lay witnesses, if you will, were permitted to testify to the ultimate legal conclusion. That's an issue, but it's interesting because I thought the issue that I thought you were going to lead with is the Batson claim.
Oh, all right. Well, I know you want to go there. So, but let's just start here. Is that a big deal? The fact that the witnesses said this was not self-defense, 0 to 10, just give it a number, how big of a deal it is.
On its own, on the merits, it could be a 7. But if I could just kind of throw something in that I think your viewers would want to know about the appellate process, appellate courts don't sit to review questions of guilt or innocence. They review whether or not the trial was fundamentally fair based on legal rulings that the court made. And there's something called the harmless error rule. And that's because nobody's perfect. We recruit all the participants, the judge, the prosecutor, the defense lawyer, the witnesses, the cops, from the human race, which means there's going to be human error. And so there are going to be mistakes. And because the Constitution doesn't entitle you, not even in New Jersey, to a perfect trial, you're entitled to a fair one. So I believe that while that could be classified as a legal mistake we call error, E-R-R-O-R, an appellate court could find that based on the allegedly overwhelming evidence that it didn't impact the outcome of the proceeding. But again, that's a potential issue. Make no mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was a big issue because like it wasn't just one witness, it was like witness after witness after witness.
When the other side sees a pattern that might be either biased or racial. So when they do that, they will stop the jury selection. They will go in the judge's chambers. Like I said before, they will go in the judge's chambers. And that is when that side has to explain, why are you striking the same type of people? They only get 4 strikes each. He used 3 of them to strike the last 3 African Americans.
All right. So right now, y'all, we are not talking about Karmelo's innocence. Did he do it? Did he not do it? That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about, did he get a fair trial? Did his lawyer sell him out? That's what we're talking about right now. And we're talking about, does he have grounds for appeal? And if he does, what are those grounds for him to appeal? Shout out to Miss Shon checking in, man, joining the panel. We were waiting on you. But so I don't want y'all arguing about the whole if he did it or not and who's blaming who. We're talking about the appeal. What grounds does he have to appeal? And we're presenting some of those right now. On the forefront right now. Shon, you want to jump in to say something?
Hey Cali, hey Chet. Forgive me, y'all. I'm back and forth. I'm cooking, so I apologize. So I don't have my camera on. I got a lot going on back here. But yes, that's one thing that I wanted to be very clear about. And Callie's already said it, but I'll reiterate it. This is not whether Karmelo is innocent or if he's guilty. Okay, everybody, no matter what crime they commit, is entitled to a fair trial. That's their constitutional right. They are entitled to a fair trial. It doesn't matter if if you think he's right or you think he's wrong. If he goes in there and he gets a fair trial and all his evidence is presented and all the proper stuff is submit. Am I hold on.
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. And all the proper stuff is submitted and he still walks away with a guilty, then guess what? He had a fair trial. In this case, it's not about, okay, is it self-defense or is it manslaughter? Is it first degree? To me, like I told you, and I've always said, I felt like he was going to get manslaughter or second degree. And that's because of the circumstances that he was up against. So right now, it's not even about guilt or innocent. Was his constitutional rights violated? 1, and 2, what are the grounds for the appeal? And he does have a high ground for appeal. Very much so.
So that's what we're talking about in the video, is the grounds for an appeal. Some people are saying his lawyer kind of sold him out. He didn't fight, and this is what other lawyers are saying too. Other defense lawyers are saying the same exact thing. Like, this couldn't have been my client. Like, this couldn't have been my client. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they bring up some of the things that, they wasn't feeling. I think Bruce Rivers actually, he really went in on his show.
That's a huge red flag. That's why the defense did a batting challenge, took it to the bat, discussed it, and the prosecutor was forced to tell why he did that. he had to come up with, okay, well, they're educators. So we feel like with them being educators, that they may have a bias toward Karmelo and let him out. So the judge bought that. But you gotta, unless you understand the law, here's the thing. When a side raises a baton challenge, they're opening the door for an appeal. That's why they do it. That's why they do it, because it shows a pattern of a racial or a bias profile in jury selection. If they take that to an appeals court, yes, that could be a civil rights thing, because you got to understand, Karmelo Anthony is an African American. I mean, would it be fair if you had a white person and he's being judged by 12 black people? That's going to raise questions, and they're going to challenge that, and they're going to appeal that. And 9 times out of 10, the appellate court is going to see this as a problem. They are going to. Now, if he would have struck 2 and left 1, it wouldn't have been a problem. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. But he did the last three African Americans, the only 3 that was left. That raises a red flag, period. So to make sure that it's on record that he challenged it during the trial, so when the appeal courts come, they will see that he did challenge it. This is the reason they gave him. So y'all, it's a strategy to the law. The law is not black and white sometimes to you. It's a strategy to why they move the way they move. Now, every lawyer, if you ask any lawyer, they will tell you that that was a bad prosecution move. That was a bad move.
So let's get to what you thought my lead was going to be. And I was debating between the two. The fact that there were no black jurors. And you talked about Batson challenges. Let's talk about that.
They do jury by process of elimination, by, if they're biased or not. But it's the fact that and you might not understand this, each side has, they have strikes. The prosecution have strikes, the defense have strikes, okay? So they can strike people with no explanation sometimes. But when you have a pattern that you're using, if one side has a pattern that they're using, that means every black person they're striking, boom, 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 okay? That is going to come to the other side, and that's when they're going to do what you call a baton challenge.
Is that a real issue in this case at the appellate level?
That is, as we say in journalism, that's the lead that you don't want to bury. I know that enough of your viewers have probably been watching Law and Order or seen you on the air talking about what Batson is. But Batson comes from, I believe, a 1984 Supreme Court case called Batson versus Kentucky, and that has been modified over the years, that essentially says that while a prosecutor can exercise as many challenges for cause as he or she can, that is based on a juror's inability to follow the law, that they can only exercise their peremptory challenges for reasons that are not related to race or for any racial reason or for any racial pretext. So what, in essence, this case presents, as I understand it, because again, I followed it, but I followed it on, this device right here, is that there were 3 black potential jurors, what we call veneer members in Texas, who were struck by the prosecutor peremptorily, meaning for no reason at all, is based on their 10 that both sides get in Texas in a felony. And once the defendant, in this case, Mr. Anthony's lawyers make what we call a prima facie case. Judge, on the record outside the jury's presence, now that the jury's seated, I want to note for the record there are no African-American jurors. And I want the court to note for the record that the prosecutor exercised X number of challenges on black jurors. At that point, the court will say, fine, the defendant has made a prima facie case. Mr. Worski, I want you to tell the court for the record why you struck those black jurors. And my understanding is that they were struck because I think they were not necessarily teachers, but educators who might have felt sympathy for a 17-year-old kid if they're around 17-year-old kids all the time. Now, once that happens, the prosecution has initially rebutted that claim that you used your challenges improperly. It's then incumbent upon the defense attorney, and this is where it's tricky. You have to show that potential jurors, veneer members, who were similarly situated to these 3 black educators who were struck or not struck, and they were white. So my understanding is that there were white veneer members who may have been teachers or educators who are not struck. If that's the only reason, I love that issue.
That's a home run, right? So you have black teachers, white teachers. Prosecutors get rid of the black teachers, but don't get rid of the white teachers. And then all of a sudden, their reasoning for getting rid of the potential black jurors kind of falls by the wayside because you didn't. Everything else is the same,
Exactly.
except the fact of what the color of their skin is.
Right. And the word that we use, you use the legal expression falling apart, which I like. It's called a pretext. That basically this is, BS. And I have one back.
All right, 0 to 10, give me a number because I have one more issue I want to get to.
8 or 9.
Okay, so that's a big one. That's a big one. All right, the final one, everyone talks about this all the time. I know some lawyers don't like it. Ineffective assistance of counsel.
To your point about ineffective assistance.
All right, so at this point, we have 3 things on the table that he can use to appeal that we've heard so far in this video. You got the jury selection, so the Batten challenge or whatever, Baskin challenge, however you say it, you got that on the table. They're also talking about the malpractice of the way the lawyer, the prosecution was asking witnesses about the outcome of the case, what would ultimately be the outcome of the case. And, you can't ask that as a lawyer. And, you can't ask that to the witnesses as a lawyer. But then, Karmelo's lawyer not even objecting to this. Like, he's not even trying to fight it. He's letting them do it. So they're looking at that. And then this last thing that they're speaking on right now is, how do you say it? I forgot. He just said it. I'm sorry, y'all. It slipped my mind how he said it. And you can listen.
Their skin is.
Right. And the word that we use, you use the legal expression falling apart, which I like. It's called a pretext. That basically this is, BS. And I have one back.
All right, 0 to 10, give me a number because I have one more issue I want to get to.
8 or 9.
Okay, so that's a big one. That's a big one. All right, the final one, everyone talks about this all the time. I know some lawyers don't like it. Ineffective assistance of counsel.
To your point about ineffective assistance.
Ineffective assistance of counsel is the third thing that they're bringing up. Ineffective assistance of counsel. And this is what I've heard many of the lawyers talking about, that he will be able to get an appeal off of this. And also they said, I seen somebody say the Batten challenge should have been the lead thing that they jumped off.
It's not the lead. It's not. The Batten challenge wouldn't be the lead. The Batten challenge would be the second one. The ineffective counseling kind of like a blanket. It's a blanket. The ineffective counseling blanket kind of covers all the things that the lawyer did not do, all the evidence that he did not present, all the witnesses, the experts that he didn't bring up. So the inadequate assistance of counseling, that's like a blanket. So it covers a whole lot more than just one lead with the Batten challenge. The Batten challenge would be the second one because it is a problem within itself. That's a problem within itself. But the other one is a blanket of problems. So because he did a number of things that were completely incorrect, or he did not. I even heard that he messed up on his closing statement. He messed up really terrible on his closing statement. So, that's what inadequate assistance or counseling would cover. So that's why it would be first.
Okay. So, Jonathan, And that's what we're trying to say, you know, before people in the chat start arguing and fighting. And, you know, we're not even talking about is he guilty or not in this live. What we're talking about was, did he get a fair trial? Did his lawyer sell him out? If so, can he appeal? What would be his grounds of appealing? And right now we have the inadequate
Lord, inadequate assistance
counsel,
of counseling, the
effective,
Batten challenge, and
inadequate, right?
Yeah. I do want to say one,
the way
that falls on the
asking the
third
questions
one. That falls under inadequate. That could be prosecutorial misconduct. Because that's leading the
Right, that's what
jury
I
by
heard.
asking a question that he's not supposed to ask. That's prosecutorial misconduct. And that is when a prosecutor uses a certain leverage to try to sway the jury. And he absolutely did that when he asked the layman witnesses, did they think it was self-defense or murder? He can't ask that because that is the whole point of the trial. You can't ask a question like that. So, but let me say this to your cousin in the chat. Let me say this to you.
Why?
If you hold on, if you went out, and I'm not gonna say anything, if you went out and you robbed a store or you allegedly committed any type of crime and you chose to fight it and you went to court and you know you did it. You know you're guilty as crap. However, you still want to take a chance and go fight it because it might have been an error or something. And then you go and you hire and you pay a lawyer all this money and they don't present half of the case. They don't let anybody speak on your behalf. They don't let anything to try to get your sentence lowered. I would be up here talking for you as well, because it wouldn't matter if you stole something or not. You are entitled to a fair trial. And if the results are the same, everybody can walk away and say he got a fair trial. So this is not about feelings or emotions. This is about facts and putting all the evidence on the table so that a jury can judge a person fairly with all the evidence on the table, not just evidence that's biased. So this is about whether it's Karmelo, whether it's Sugarfoot, I don't care who it is. Everybody deserves a fair trial. Everybody.
Well, he feels he did get a fair trial, so let's just leave that alone. He feels like he got a fair trial, and he feels like no matter what, he's guilty. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, just, you know.
Let me tell you what point one under ineffective assistance is. Well, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to be the host. Vinny, thanks for joining us today. What do you think the best claim of ineffective assistance is that Karmelo Anthony's new lawyer will have?
Did not prepare for the punishment phase.
Oh my God!
Trial, presented no case.
Golf clap. You're absolutely.
So I got it right. I got it right.
Hit it out of the park. Right. Hit it in the Crawford boxes. No question. And yeah, I think anybody who, again, wasn't in the courtroom but followed the case knew that. And if you have not prepared for the eventuality, for the virtual certainty of a punishment hearing, then again, you've got no business in a courtroom. That means lining up a smorgasbord, a cavalcade, a panoply of mom, dad, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, coaches, teachers, people who knew this kid best, number one. Number two is I also think this kid's 17. And what we like to tell jurors in a situation where we've got a youngster is that our lives are motion pictures. They're not snapshots. Do not judge this 17-year-old kid whose brain may not be fully formed on the worst day of his life, which means you need an expert. You sit this kid down with a shrink, a psychologist or psychiatrist, to talk about how he's young, what he may have thought was reasonable, and how the best cure for crime is old age. To me,
the bottom line for that is, listen, You know, you're not arguing for innocence at that point. What you're doing is trying to mitigate the damage, mitigate the punishment, and get him sentenced to something less than 35 years and closer to, I don't know, 10 or 15.
Exactly. And that's a great point. And this is what's key. In Texas, we have a system involving murder versus manslaughter. And so back in the day before the law changed like 25 years ago, a jury could consider manslaughter is a separate crime with a separate punishment range of 2 to 20. The legislature said, now let's just make it a punishment issue. So you get found guilty of murder during the guilt innocence stage, and then at punishment, you get what's called a special issue. If you find from the evidence that the defendant acted as a result of sudden passion arising from an adequate cause, that is the kind of response that anger, rage, terror, or resentment would bring in an ordinary person. Can't believe I remember that. Then this is manslaughter, and the penalty range is 2 to 20. While you can litigate that, and generally do litigate that during guilt innocence, you can also litigate it during the punishment stage. I didn't see anything at all, nothing, zero, zip, nada, that was related at all to the special issue. And when you have a cap on 20, it's a lot different than a cap on 99 or life.
No, it's not over, because I do believe that they are going to fight. They are going to fight for Karmelo Anthony's appeal. They're going to fight. They're going to get, I do believe that a lot of people are coming together and they're going to do his appeal. Because there's so many reasons for an appeal. There's so many reasons. That was not a fair trial whatsoever.
Again, I don't say he, again, I'm not saying in his appeal, or even if he gets a new trial, he's going to walk free. The point is him getting a free trial. They were saying that there was a lot of evidence suppressed by the judge. The judge wouldn't let a lot of evidence in. Anything that looked like it was, going to work in his favor, they're saying the judge suppressed a lot of evidence. Is that fair? Is that fair? You know what I'm saying? So, again, this is all about the appeal, Jonathan, you were asking, is about them looking at the process of his trial. His family feels like they got played, is what, I guess they feel. They feel like they got, they feel like their lawyer didn't fight. They say they were advised of wrong things. They were advised, not to say this and not to say that. They were advised this and they were advised that, and they feel like, they didn't get a fair trial. So in this live, we were just asking or going over some of the things that they could appeal on. And it's not his conviction. The appeal is not about his conviction, his innocence, or his guilt. It's not about, that's not what the appeal is about. It's about the process of his trial.
Technically, if his appeal is granted, the conviction is thrown out. If he is granted an appeal, the conviction will be thrown out. And if he's granted a new trial. And see, even with a new trial, does he risk, it could go either way. Does he?
Right.
He risks the chances of getting something higher. He risks the chance to, it could go either way. It could go either way. But at least whatever he gets, at least he will have a fair trial, and whatever he wanted to come out will come out. And let me say, as far as a plea deal, y'all, I don't think he was offered a plea deal. As the documents I've seen, he was never offered a plea deal. He was always going to take it to trial. So I don't even think a plea deal was even offered in this case. I think Jeff Metcalf and his family wanted to take it to trial. They didn't want to offer him anything. So that pretty much, but I mean, y'all have to confirm, and I always say confirm it. And you have to be careful of what you pick up on social media. If it's not coming from a reputable channel, or another lawyer, not just another blogger, just fact check your information, because a lot of stuff that's coming out is not accurate at all. So, you have to fact check your information.
I'm just looking real quick. I'm just trying to see something real quick. So I just asked ChatGPT, was he offered a plea deal? It says, I'm not aware of any credible reports that Karmelo Anthony was offered a plea deal.
Yeah, everyone is not offered a plea deal. That is incorrect information. That is not true. If the family does not agree to offer a plea deal, they are not going to offer a plea deal, especially if it's a victim involved. If the state goes to the family and say, hey, are you interested in offering the defendant a plea deal? If that family says no, no plea deal goes on the table. They go to trial. So that's not true. Everyone is not offered a plea deal.
So it's saying he wasn't offered a plea deal in this trial. And that's just me. I just looked at it on ChatGPT. But yeah, that was what this live was pretty much about. Is there, somewhere you really want to go with this, Shon? I just I added some of your stuff in just to show that some of the points you were bringing up before, a lot of these lawyers were bringing up about the what grounds he could possibly file for an appeal. I added that in.
His number one, again, is ineffective assistance of counseling. That right there, is a very strong appeal, and they'll be able to see that because they have found evidence of, I think one of the lawyers went and got a little bit of the information from the courthouse in Collin County, and they did find where Mike Howard did have information that he was suppressing. So, I mean,
right,
like I said,
and that's what I'm saying about the inadequate counseling, effectiveness of counseling. If my own lawyer has information that he's suppressing or not trying to get that could have helped me get off, which comes back to that video of him being jumped. Where is the video at? Like, I get y'all saying he's seen it, people have seen it. Okay. The public hasn't seen it. It hasn't come out to the public. They're hiding the video.
Well, Cali, it wouldn't be to the public because when that video was shown a year ago, they offered it to a select number of people. They wouldn't even put it out. They offered it to a select number of people got to go in and watch it. And what those people are saying is what they played in the courtroom is not the video that they have on file, because it's a 2-minute video and then it's extended out to 11-minute video, and they're saying they're not playing the whole thing. So it wouldn't come to us at all. And an update on that, the U.S. Attorney General has stepped in and has blocked anybody from getting the video. Now, wonder why. Everybody put in a FOIA. FOIA, if you don't know what that means that you have a right to, the public has a constitutional right to see the evidence after a case. So they put in a FOIA. Well, they blocked that. They blocked everything but that. They blocked the video, but nothing else.
I said you're not getting that. If that video,
they blocked it.
I said if that video exists, you're not getting that video. You're not.
But
no way you're going to get a video of them showing him getting jumped.
But you know what? But I can tell you, if somebody higher steps in, they can get it. Not the public, but the lawyers, they'll be able to get it. If somebody higher steps in and demands that they present all the evidence, even the 11-minute video, they have to bring it out. They have to.
Now, so Shon, this is the point I'm making about ineffective assistant counsel. It's like his lawyer, if this video actually exists, why didn't the lawyer go get it? So this gives him grounds for an appeal, is what I'm saying. It's not fair. Like, it's not a fair trial. If the lawyer wouldn't go get, if you took my money and you wouldn't go get this video that could help show I got jumped, I got attacked, and you don't go get the video, yeah, I need an appeal. My lawyer played me. My lawyer, I don't know.
Well, I think that from what I believe that everybody was counting on his lawyer to play the video. Remember, I told you they had a list of 17 witnesses and he didn't call not one. So I think that was a surprise to the family as well. He didn't call, he rested his case. He rested it without calling all of the witnesses. They said they had a forensic DNA that could show how the knife went in and, if it was, all that stuff. I'm not going to get into all that. And they also had a child psychologist. They had all of that, but he didn't call any of it. That's why it was a shock to everybody. And from my understanding, I think it was not Karmelo's decision to not testify. It was his lawyers, because they said, well, all the witnesses are lying, so they'll be able to catch that. So, you don't need to testify. So it was not his decision. But if I was Karmelo, I would have demanded it, because nobody can tell your own self-defense better than you. So I do believe that was a big mistake on the defense part, is they did not allow Karmelo to testify in his own case. I would have, that was not good.
I saw a lot of defense lawyers saying that was crazy that he didn't. I saw a lot of lawyers saying that. They didn't even play, like, he didn't even go get Hunter's, or did he? Hunter's interviews where he was contradicting himself.
Okay, so I did tell you about that. So come to find out, they suppressed that. What happened was one of the motions. I told you they have a lot of motions in pretrial. So one of the motions, they ask in pretrial, can they present certain evidence? And the judge can say no. Say no. You can't. Introduce that, or you can't. Anything dealing with Hunter and Austin's background was struck. That he was not allowed to bring it out. Remember, I told you he could have played that video to kind of contradict the witnesses, because Hunter mentioned the book bag, but none of the witnesses mentioned the book bag. So he could have played the video to contradict their story. But unfortunately, the reason why we didn't, which we're just finding out now, is that the judge suppressed that evidence, wouldn't let anything negative about Hunter or Austin come out. And come to find out, Hunter was actually supposed to testify. He was supposed to testify. Now, what happened with that, I don't know.
So the judge wouldn't let them talk nothing about their past, their history, nothing. Karmelo's lawyer didn't have no character witnesses. I don't even know if it was in this video, but I got another video coming where, you see the lawyers talking about, why didn't he bring any witness experts, like psychologists, anything? Like, he didn't bring nothing to the table. Like, he didn't fight at all. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not saying he's guilty or he's innocent. I'm saying I don't think his lawyer fought. That's just my opinion. And I don't think he fought. I feel like he threw that boy.
He did. He did. He
did. Took
he
them
absolutely
won.
Yeah, he absolutely 100% did.
I don't think many of us thought he was going to walk.
I don't think nobody thought that. I don't think nobody really thought. Everybody feels like, okay, it was self-defense. To me, it was always going to be self-defense. But you got to understand, and we said this last time, there was a life that was taken. So you always got to keep that in mind. A family lost a son, a brother. So you got to keep that in mind. So you got to have some form of a punishment for that. And I will always take that stance, But nobody can tell that boy that he wasn't scared, how he was feeling. Nobody can tell him that. Nobody can tell you how you feeling at a certain moment. You can't tell a person how they feel or how they don't feel. But again, I felt like a child psychologist coming up on the witness stand and speaking about the psychology mind of a 17-year-old and, talking about Austin. She could have spoke about the kids, and she could have spoke about Carmelo's their state of mind during a stressful situation such as that. So that would have helped a whole lot, you know.
So why wouldn't the lawyer bring any character witnesses up there to speak on his behalf? Why wouldn't he try to do something like that? I mean, they were painting a picture of these other guys. Why wouldn't you bring somebody on there to try to,
Yeah, and see that falls under inadequate assistance of counseling. That's what that will. Remember, I told you it's a blanket. So all that will fall under the fact of one, he didn't object to the questioning that the prosecution was doing, and secondly, he did not bring in any type of character witness, not even for the sentencing. He didn't bring in any type of
nothing?
character witness. And the thing about it is, y'all know that Carmelo has saved a child's life. They could have brought that I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, but they could have brought that child's parents in. They could have brought his school in. The boy had a 3.7 GPA, captain of his track team. He had college offers. This boy was not a dumb boy. He was not a boy in the street. He, to me, was a child that made a mistake in a stressful situation, and that choice cost him. That's it. That's all. That's my take on it. And I feel like, yeah, unfortunately, I know you was in a stressful situation, but you're gonna have to pay some type of consequence for that.
You gotta pay some. Yeah, there's some kind. You gotta He's not gonna walk. He wasn't gonna walk. I never felt he was gonna walk, but I still feel like his lawyer didn't fight either. I feel like he got thrown.
He
He got
didn't.
thrown. I just don't feel like. I mean, at the end of the day, I never felt he was gonna walk. But damn, give the man a fight. Try to explain to us. Get us to understand what he was feeling at that time or what was really going on. I mean, and then too, you got different witnesses saying different things at that situation. How do you choose which one you're gonna believe? How do you choose what you're gonna believe and what you're not gonna believe? You feel what I'm saying? Because they all got on the stand and they were inconsistent with their testimony.
Well, to answer D Chicago's to respond to his statement, they actually did have witnesses lined up. He didn't call them. The defense
Wow.
attorney did not call any of them. That's why we're saying, y'all, he had
He did a
inadequate
fair
assistive
trial.
counseling. They had 17 witnesses lined up for Carmelo Anthony. 17. So he did have it. But the big question is, Mike Howard has not come out one time and spoke. And usually, even after a trial, whether their defendant win or lose, just like with the P. Diddy case, what did he do? As soon as P. Diddy lost, his lawyers came out, made a statement and say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. This is how we're moving forward. You will have every lawyer come out and say, come to the public and say, this is what happened. But we're going to fight. Da, da, da. His lawyers didn't do anything. Nothing.
Yeah, well, listen, man. So these are some of the grounds he has for an appeal.
No, sugar, no, it's nothing. He doesn't. They said it in court. He does not have anything on his record. He's never been in trouble at all.
Yeah, so these are some of the things that he has to stand on for an appeal. And it looks like, you're starting to see a lot of people come out after Jeff Metcalf's rant he did. I said, man, I told Miss Shon, I said, hey, man, listen, what happens if that rant he went on the other night, this is where you see the universe. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we got a chance to see that man's true colors.
Well, like I told you, that rant that he went on, it won't have any effect on his appeal. But if he is granted a new trial, that video is definitely going to help Karmelo.
Vanessa says that defense lawyer was working against him. I worked
agree.
for the system for 30 years. Now, again, that's what people are saying. That's what other attorneys are saying, that they watched this guy. You know, I watched other attorneys say what they would have done, what they would have brought to the table, and this guy is supposed to be a top-notch defense attorney, and you didn't see any of the things that other lawyers were saying they would have brought to the table.
Okay, so is that Wanda? That's Wanda, right? Archive T.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is another rumor, Wanda. That's another terrible rumor. When it gets in one ear, it spreads like wildfire, and people start adding on. From what the statement that was put out, the Anthony's used them, and the statement came from Go Sin Go or whatever. It was Go Sin whatever. The statement from I'm just gonna say GoFundMe. The statement from the GoFundMe, they did put out a statement. That money went toward majority of the money went toward his defense. Don't think them GoFundMe is just gonna hand them some money. They're not gonna do that. They have to show proof that you are using the funds for what you raised them for. So half that money went toward the defense. But it's been a bad rumor out there put out that they used the money to buy cars and all of this. That's just a terrible rumor. And that's like I told y'all, you have to make sure that you go to a reliable place or person, and I would suggest CBS News, Court TV, Law and Crime. I would suggest you do that, or listen to lawyers regarding the accuracy and information on this case. That's what I would advise, not other bloggers, because they're repeating what another blogger says.
But it says they're saying there was no plea deal on the table for him to take. He desperately needed to take a plea deal from the jump. They're saying there was no plea deal offered. So if there's no plea deal, he can't take a plea deal. He has to go to trial. There was a question that was asked earlier, Shon. I put it up here just in case you wanted to try to answer it. This was the question. If he had killed him with his bare hands, would that be considered self-defense?
Yes, it would have. Absolutely. And to answer Wanda's question, that's another bad rumor. Mike Howard was a public defense lawyer. That's where they got that from.
Yeah,
if you go and look up Mike Howard, and this is why I wish people would just fact check, because they be putting out these bad rumors and then they have supporters thinking it's true. But anyway, if you go pull up Mike Howard's bio under Google, or you can go under his office and it gives his bio, he is a former public defender. He is now a private practicing attorney. They paid him and they paid Toby Shook. Toby Shook is also, what's that guy named? Beezy? What's his name? Rapper Beezy or something? I don't know what I'm saying. I might be saying something dumb.
It's Yellow
But
Beezy. Yellow Beezy.
Yellow Beezy. Toby Shook is Yellow Beezy's attorney. Yeah. So it was two private attorneys, Mike Howard and Toby Shook. They were both paid for private. They are both private attorneys. They were not appointed.
Yeah. But that's what you guys, that's kind of what we wanted to touch on today, was just what does his appeal look like? Like, does he have grounds, to file an appeal? You feel what I'm saying?
I know Wanda. Hold on, Kelly. I know Wanda. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about when people bloggers repeat information, when they just repeat it without fact checking.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what we wanted to touch on today was the grounds, what he'll be presenting for the appeal. That's all I wanted y'all to really see was what things he'll be throwing out there to get the appeal. Basically, he's saying he didn't get a fair trial, and that's what his family is saying too. The family is saying they felt like they were used. This is just what they were saying. They felt like they were being set up. They had been set up, used, and their lawyer, they said they were misguided, and they said their lawyer didn't really fight for them. So, they filed a notice of appeal. Now, the thing is, what are the grounds? What will they be presenting to the, to the judges, to see if they can get maybe a new trial or get the trial.
They're going to get they're trying to get a new trial. But from my understanding, the appeal is going to be the number one based on inadequate assistance of counseling. That's going to be their number one.
Yeah, so he does have some ground to stand on to present for an appeal. Again, the appeal is not about his conviction or whatever. They're going to be more so going on looking at the process he went through in his trial and go from there.
And let me oh my God. And let me explain about the whole I think Sarah Fields put this out about, well, actually, I think she's a blogger that she hates. Well, anyway, that he filed a Honduras, and what that is not being able to afford a lawyer, blah blah blah. Okay, so Mike Howard, he is not an appeal lawyer. Okay, he's not an appellate lawyer, and I don't think he would use him anyway because it would be against him. But anyway, so you have to put in a notice of appeal within 30 days of you being sentenced, and you have to do it right away. When that was filed, the notice of appeal was filed, he did not have an appellate lawyer in place. So when you don't have an appellate lawyer in place, that is what you have to put in there. And then they will go back and they will update it once he's able to secure an attorney. And I heard that they are interviewing different attorneys. And I also actually heard they had 3 out of Texas. So, but that has yet to be confirmed as of yet. But then you will see it update with their private attorney's name, if that answers the question.
Now, I know Slim was asking, yeah, he can file an appeal, but can he afford it? Well, the way it's looking right now, if these reports are true, I mean, I think Boosie just put up $500,000 for his appeal. I think NBA YoungBoy put up $200,000
yeah,
for his appeal. And word is it was one more. Who was the other person?
I forgot. It was one more. I forgot the other person.
More celebrity.
It was one more. I forgot. But
It was one more celebrity. What up, Lacondas? What up?
Hey, Lacondas.
I mean, I don't know if he can afford it or not, but if you got celebrities that's coming out and putting money behind his appeal, I'm sure it's it's going to be taken care of, because you got a lot of people looking at this case a little different now. Even if they felt like he wasn't going to walk, you have some people just feeling like he just simply didn't get a fair trial. Simply that.
Yeah, that's it.
Now he can go do the appeal. He can get a new trial and still lose. But what people are saying was, at least a lot of the evidence that was suppressed and stuff, or whatever, he can have a second shot at fighting. And I think more people are just looking at the years to come down. Is what I think a lot of people are.
I don't think nobody would have had a problem if he would have got manslaughter. I don't think it would have been that big of a fight if he would have gotten manslaughter. Because
Yeah,
like I
I
said, I
think
think everybody agreed that,
he had to pay for the situation. I don't think all we wanted to do was just put on the table the grounds that he's going to be presenting, and this ain't even probably all of the grounds. These are just some of the things that I guess maybe the strongest ones. And from the looks of it, people are coming together and dropping money down for that appeal. So now, no, it's not to say he's gonna, anything's gonna change or whatever. I think some people just feel like that them numbers need to come down. So it's just kind of what I think.
Now the lawyers that are coming forward, and you even have lawyers that were not rooting for, I mean, I don't, but lawyers don't really take sides except if they're in the trial, but they'll have their opinion. But even the
Well,
ones
I have
that,
heard some lawyers
the
that wasn't on his side at first.
Yeah, well, they're not, I don't think they're really on a side. I think what they're saying is, as lawyers, as experienced lawyers, you can look
He didn't get a fair
inside
trial.
and say, oh my God, well, why did he do this? It's just like a doctor, y'all. If you have two surgical doctors standing right there and they're looking at one doctor perform and they're doing a surgery and all incorrect, they're going to be like, oh my, you're not doing this right. That's not what we learned in school. So that's what the other lawyers were doing. They were saying the prosecution was leading the witnesses. He was influencing them by asking, do you think it's self-defense? Do you think it's murder? You're not supposed to do that. You cannot do that. So there was a lot of things that
Well,
they were
this is showing
shocked.
malpractice. It's showing malpractice on the prosecution, and it's also showing, uh, insufficient effectiveness or whatever on the defense lawyer. Like, you're just not gonna do nothing, huh? Like, you're not even gonna try. So
Yeah,
it's just
that's
basically
that right. It was
you didn't
you
get a fair
absolutely
trial.
right. It wasn't even about, hey, y'all, we feel bad for Carmelo. I feel so. No, it's about, did he get a fair trial? And I think, again, like I was saying, even the attorneys who felt, that he should go to jail, even they said, you know, we don't agree with how that trial went. It wasn't, it was too many errors made. It was too much done. So, I don't think they know Carmelo, and I don't think, they were in their feelings because they're saying the same thing. Hey, we don't think he was given a fair trial. It's just a constitutional right. That's it.
Yeah,
Just a
when you
constitutional
see
right.
when you see even prosecuting lawyers say, wait a minute, I mean, this wasn't my case, but yeah, this don't even look, I gotta say, this don't even look right. When you have prosecutor lawyers like stepping back like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, it don't look like his lawyer fault.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree, Wanda. Wanda, I agree with you 100%. I was that way. They could have gave him manslaughter. I agree with that 100%. If manslaughter, I think I could have dealt with. I mean, I think that would have been, I feel like they proved manslaughter, and that is why the judge allowed it, because the judge is not going to allow a lesser charge unless he feels that it was proven in some type of sort. So he allowed, um, uh, what was it? Manslaughter. The defense asked for criminal, I think he's criminal justice, something like homicide. That's a lesser charge. He denied him that. He completely denied him that. So
so Slim, true, they didn't pick any of those lawyers that we're talking about, true, but they already came out and said they were misguided. They were misguided. They made, they were told about these lawyers. They were misguided. They made a bad mistake. Does that still say they can't get a fair trial? Like, no, they didn't pick those other lawyers. But does that mean their lawyer just hand them over? I mean, But you guys, I'm gonna get ready to bring this to an end. Shine, you can close out with your thoughts.
Oh, well, all I'm gonna say is y'all, just like I'm definitely very in tune to this situation more than I am the Quadesia. I'm really just not even into that anymore. I kind of totally completely lost focus on what's going on with that because I've just kind of got my eyes set on this trial. So I am definitely always researching and looking and finding out new information. And I think right now they're at this point, they filed the notice of appeal. Now they are trying to pick a lawyer, pick the right lawyer. If they haven't already, I heard they did, but y'all know again, there's nothing been confirmed. I heard they have picked lawyers. The next thing is to go and file the appeal and go from there. So, but I'll keep you guys posted on that.
I was trying to see what Big Man said. Oh, Big Man said they had an option. They had an option to convict on manslaughter.
Yeah, they did. They did. Remember, I just said they did have an option to convict on manslaughter, and they didn't.
Engine Radio, what up? What up? What up? What up to the tribe, man? Yeah, man.
They absolutely did. They opted for
murder.
They did. They did, and that's they didn't prove intent. They didn't prove intent at all. So, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, so like I said, we just wanted to talk about what grounds they're going to be throwing out there to attempt to get an appeal, and however that goes is how it's going to go. I believe he's going to get an appeal.
Yeah, I do too.
I believe he's, now how they deal with it as far as throwing it out or I don't know, but I think he's going to be granted an appeal. And I believe the community is going to come through and take care of them legal fees. That's what I feel. I mean, you already got celebrities dropping down 500, 200,000. Mary J. Blige. I think they said Mary J. Blige was.
Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that, but I don't know how accurate that is. But I did hear that as well.
Yeah, so I believe it's like Boosie, Mary J. Blige, and NBA Youngboy. That dropped down. Some bread for that new defense for that appeal. So we'll see how it happens, y'all. But I'm about to close this out, and like I said, Ms. Shon, you can let them know where you at, where to check you out, what you got going on, and then I'm gonna close this on out.
Well, if you guys want to follow me, I do keep my community board updated, and sometimes even something really big comes out, I'll do a video. But you can find me at Crab. Did I say Crab? I meant Crime Lab. Dissecting Justice. So I will keep you guys updated on the facts, only facts and things that I can confirm, not things that I feel, things that are facts and that I can confirm. You're welcome, right. Wanda. Thank you, Vanessa. Is it Vernessa? Vernessa. Thank you, Vanessa.
This is just us having a conversation. Me and Shon had these conversations on the back end. And we just bringing it to the front. Like I said, we not lawyers, and we ain't, we just, this is our conversations we be having, about certain things. So we just bring it to the front sometimes, So with that being said, you guys, I'm about to get out of here. You guys have a great Sunday.
Thank you, Janice.
Enjoy the rest of my Sunday.
See you guys later.
All right, peace, y'all.
Goliath the
Go,
goat.
baby.
Hey. Sunshine on me. Sunshine on me. Hey, it's the rain. It go come. You can't run. Sunshine on me. pocket, it really ain't that many options. You got it or don't, or just know a person who got it. You try to get rich for they bury your body. He driving the limit, he want a Bugatti. Can't go to the block cause it hot as a toxic. Get caught over here and they try to demolish. Capital One, like what's in your pocket? He just put a shiesty mask on his noggin. You know what that mean, it's time for robbing. That switch ain't from granted, that one for a car. He horse rail Lawrence, he want a Ferrari. He live for the day, he ain't shoot for tomorrow. The sun shine on me. Shine on me. Hey, that shit rain. It go come. You can't run. The sun shine on me. Let it shine on me. Hey, still hit the block in the hood. Just for a cardiac, he'll go stand in the woods. He really just needed a push. Switch on the back of the gun, he ain't come off a bush. Before he go 6 feet, gotta be up. He dreaming about Hellcat robbers and stuff. To tell you the truth, he'll rob if you want with a Nike 10 face, man. How about he dumpy? Your pockets on stick, man, hungry for crumbs. My diamonds still hit, I ain't up in the sun. If you cut off my finger, just leave me my thumb. I'ma find a way to count up me some money. He only got one shot, probably go done. I'm a young black millionaire, come out the country. Got diamonds on me in my pocket, your money. All the green in the spot, you would think it's a jungle. The sun shine on me. Shine on me. Hey, that shit rain. It go come. You can't run.